Well, I just want to start off by saying, how excited we are to add 9 new members to our Washington State football program. And, over the course really, of the last 6 weeks since the last signing day, there's been so much effort by our coaches, families, our administrators, our staff, our faculty, our community, restaurants all over this great community. And we're just excited to be in partnership with everybody to really just display our main motto in recruiting, which is family over flash. And I think these 9 guys are a representation of the right fit for Washington State. And that was our goal here as we kind of processed the last 6 weeks while putting the staff together and obviously traveling around the country. So you're going to see 9 guys from a lot of different areas. Start with the defensive backfield. Starts with Tony Carter. He's out of Jacksonville, Florida. And Tony, he's a unique specimen because he's also a wrestler and has a goal and aspiration this year to be a state champion. He's currently undefeated, and I know I felt bad for him at recruiting dinners because I think he's got to go back and cut 10 pounds. So he's excited to finish off strong. He's a hard-hitting, strong safety that fits exactly, the role that we want for him in our defense. David Johnson, really an athlete, but David, when we found him out of Hooks, Texas, can play both sides of the ball, but I love 6'2", rangy guys that are really athletic. And we feel he transitions to starting at corner in our program and really see where his athleticism takes him as he continues to grow and develop. And the third defensive back we took was Reese Sylvester, really out of Baytown, Texas, and Sterling High School. And Reese is a combination of size and speed. I feel like he is a great fit for our free safety position and really roam in the middle of the field with his ball skills. And I love quarterbacks. And Reese was a guy that played full-time at quarterback, and he sees the field in a different way. But I just know he's smart enough, he's athletic enough, and the upside with Reese is really strong. The rest of our focus was really on the offensive side of the ball, and obviously that starts at quarterback. John Mateer out of Little Elm. We did a good job throughout the evaluation process of getting a chance to watch John throw the ball. And that was big for Coach Morris to get out there and really observe him, throwing the ball and delivering and watch how he interacts with his teammates. And John is not short on confidence. And I think he's the next gunslinger that we can really develop in our program. I love his leadership ability once you get him one-on-one. And once again, another multi-sport player with John also playing baseball and doing it at a high level. At running back, we really wanted to change a pace guy. And that was our focus as we kind of went throughout the country in our quest to find another tailback. That led us to Jalen Jenkins out of the Allen High School down there in Texas. Got a chance to talk with Coach Morris, who is well-versed in the college game, about Jalen. And he really possesses a unique skill set of speed, but plus the ability to flex out and do a lot of the things our tailback will do in the new offense in the receiving game. So Jalen's one of those guys that he hits a seam and nobody's there. He can obviously take the ball to the house and is a very explosive player. And then everyone will notice our emphasis on the offensive line. And Coach McGuire was brought here for a reason, and that's to rebuild our offensive line. And our visions really align, and you'll see that with the body types and the sizes of the men I'm about to talk about. So it starts with the twins. I know that's not a misprint. It is Luke and Landon Broten, both 6'5" plus. Luke's a little bit lighter at 265, Landon at 285. And just excited about their growth. And it was just unbelievable. Throughout this process, they were always looking for a place to play together. And we just see such a great fit. Even though Luke has mainly played defense, Coach Caligas actually had a really special bond and relationship with him from his previous institution. So it was just really excited to bring both of them here together, and great young men and really hard workers, out of Tumble High School in Texas. The next one is Zach Miller. Zach is all of 6'7", and just really feel like he can be an anchor at that left tackle position, hopefully for a long time to come. I think he's a special breed of length and athleticism. He's a hard worker out of Orange Lutheran in California, and just excited about his growth and development. And Coach has had a lot of success with guys like Zach. And then Kendall Williams. And Kendall is out of San Diego, Lincoln High School, another two-way player. And sometimes I love guys that you really debate, should we play him at D-line, should we play him at O-line? but I think you really see his athleticism and his ability to play on the interior of our offensive line, I think will be really big. And he is one of those guys that is ready-made with his size and his mentality and has a really big life and a passion to him that I think he's going to bring some energy to our football program. So, with that, I really open it up for questions. We're just excited about the future, and this is really our foundational class. I'm yet to say that this is our first class. That'll be next year, but these guys will set the foundation for who we will be in the future.
All right, as a reminder, please raise your hand if you have questions, and we will call on you. First question comes from Jamie Vinnick of Coug Fan. Go ahead, Jamie.
Afternoon, Coach. How's it going?
Good, Jamie. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. So just kind of now with all these guys in the boat, how many spots do you kind of anticipate having left to kind of fill out this class?
We'll still be in the market for some impact players. That the schedule, the roster is always kind of shifting around, but we'll probably look for 4 to 5 spots that will still work to fill as we keep moving forward.
What kind of positions are you looking at emphasizing? Just kind of noticed no receiver yet in this class in particular.
Yep, and then that'll be one of the positions that we work to fill as we go forward. But at the end of the day, Jamie, it's going to be a best available mindset. Who can impact our program the most as we work to find the right fit. And I think I want to stress that enough with these 9 high school players that we signed. The personality, the fit, do they want to be here? Are they competitive? Are they team captains, multi-sport, good people in their communities? Those are qualities that we'll look for even though in those last 4 to 5 spots. So, I think there's an obvious need at running back and wide receiver and an experienced offensive lineman. So we're going to find some ways and guys that can impact our program, and that'll really be at any position at this point.
And just in doing that, is it going to be kind of scouring, the JUCO ranks, the prep ranks, the transfer portal, just kind of, finding more of the exact fit regardless of what level or where they're playing currently?
Yeah, absolutely. The high school market is pretty well, dried up, and we'll attack the JC market that we've had a lot of success here in the past, and as well as keep an eye on the portal. And we have a recipe that we want to have in the portal, and the portal is one of those myths. Like it's like an oasis, so there's a lot of things that really go into just taking guys out of the portal and who's actually in there. Why are they in there? Are they the right fit for Washington State? And we'll continue to make sure we find the right people.
All right, Coach. Next question comes from Colton Clark of the Spokesman Review. Go ahead, Colton.
Hey, Coach. How's it going?
Good, Colton. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Just kind of on these new 9 guys, obviously we saw Jordan Lee sign 2 and assuming he has a chance to play early, but any of these other guys you think kind of have a chance to find a role early, or is it fair to say it's more of a, the foundational signees to develop in the program?
Well, I think 3 kind of guys stick out to me. First one is Jalen Jenkins, because I think he is that change of pace, so Nakia and then, Javinsky, who we signed in the early signing period, are big backs, and he's very multiple. So we'll see what at a young age he can come in and impact. And then the 2 big guys up front that I think are more physically ready than the other ones are Landon, Rhoden, and Kendall Williams. So those guys will be thrown into a little bit of fire. We'll get them here in the summer. We'll teach them the schemes, get them introduced to our strength and conditioning and nutrition, and hopefully see who can kind of rise out of that group. But the one message to all of them was come and compete. I don't want guys that come in with a red shirt mentality. We love guys that want to compete and want to play, and that mindset will be to get ready to contribute right now with all 9 of them. But those are a few guys that I'm hopeful to come in and have a pretty big impact.
Would you say that you're, pretty well comfortable with any 1 or 2 position groups in particular?
In recruiting or a roster as a whole?
Just kind of after today and what you've added, are there any groups that you're like, okay, I think we're good there?
Well, I mean, we've talked about it a lot. This is a rebuild of a roster, and we're constantly doing those things. I mean, since I've been here in 2 years, we've lost 8 safeties, so really to go out and address that need was huge as we went through it. And now, when you talk about the Jaden Hicks and Adrian Shepherds and, we get Jordan Lee, we get Tony, we get Reese, we feel like we're really building a really good foundation, because when you play the 4-2-5, that core of that defense needs to be really strong. And, David Johnson, this will be a store and stash name. And then in 2 years, everyone's going to be like, how'd you get this guy? I just think he's one of those guys that we're excited about in the future. And then you got to give these offensive line time to develop. And I think that's important. That's part of the developmental process. We are, and this class really sticks to what I've said a lot. We will always be a developmental program, right? We won't be just a talent addition program. And I think that says our needs and where we want to be for the future. And we'll still find the right pieces that can help us in the immediate future.
And just how nice is it to have kind of established a foothold in Texas? Because, getting class 6A guys out of Texas seems a good place to be.
Well, and as it comes down this late, it is about, finding, areas that you have connections with, which obviously Coach Morris and Clay and Coach Filani have deep ties in Texas, as well as some of our support staff. And to find the right guys out of those main areas, I think is important for our program and really can help a lot of our future in recruiting. And our foundational areas will still be Washington, Oregon, Idaho, California, Hawaii. Like that's where we want to build this team. But it is good to have a secondary pipeline in Texas that we can tap into that finds the right people for our program. And, when you're recruiting at the second signing day, sometimes you have to spread a bigger net than we would like to do. But I think we did that targeting the right people in the right positions. And I think that's what you see today.
All right. As a reminder, if you have a question for Coach Dickert, please raise your hand. Next question comes from Jake Hall. Go ahead, Jake.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good, Jake. How are you?
Hi, good. I'm with the Daily Evergreen, and my question is just, what can the coaching staff attribute to closing out the recruits that you guys get, or what can you do, or what do you do when they come visit that really seals the deal for them for WSU?
Well, I think first off, just talk through the coaching staff. I think it's a great question because, most of the guys arrived right after the bowl game. So there was a couple of weeks in there that they were, still formulating this staff and getting those guys together. And I think in quick order, what I've noticed too is our staff is really gelled together. I think it's a bunch of guys that have no ego, that want the best for the team. They're not selfish recruiters, and they're just bringing energy to our place that is just infectious. So I think when they're out recruiting and representing Washington State, and then I think when we get families on campus, I meant what I said in our theme. We're family over flash, so I think we do it our way. And that is really building relationships, talking about how we're not just building football players, but we're building men for life. And that's a passion of mine, and it'll be a passion of our program really going forward. So I think that messaging is aligned and consistent with everybody they meet. Our players do a great job because they know giving back to the program is about hosting players and doing player panels and, telling them their story. But it's also our administrators, our coaches' families, our faculty, our staff that's willing to help contribute. So when you sell a message of family, right, everyone's seeing if that's aligned as you go throughout the visit. And I think that's what, as Cougs, that's what we all do. And, from online to everyone hitting these guys up on Twitter to showing our fans passion to when they get on campus, I think they just really feel that this is a place that is all in alignment. And I think, just 18-year-olds, they're looking for something that they can grab onto that's meaningful. And I think our place just really provides that for them.
Thanks, Coach.
Next question comes from Jamie Vinnick of Coug Fan. Go ahead, Jamie.
Me again, Coach.
Thanks, Jamie.
Just got a few things about how NIL is factored into all of this. So just kind of in your first, completion of this class, I know you called it next year's your first official class, but in these last couple months, how prevalent has NIL been in recruiting in your eyes?
In the broad scope, in the college landscape, you're saying?
In particular, just kind of with your class at Wazoo.
Well, I think we're still building those assets and we're still working to find, ways that continue to grow in that area, and I'm obviously not involved in those things, but, I think it's a program-wide thing and it's a college-wide thing. If we want to grow as a university and as a football program, that is now part of it, and excited for the opportunities that our guys have, and excited, for our guys and their involvement in our community and what that means for their success. But we'll never lose, Jamie, the emphasis on being a student athlete, getting a degree, and how this is still secondary to that in my mind. But it is part of the college landscape, and we will continue, hopefully, to grow as a program in those areas. And that's got to be part of it now. To compete in the Pac-12 and even more nationally, that has to be part of what we're able to do. But at the end of the day, for me, Washington State will always be more of a place where it's about playing and performing, and then we'll see what happens from there. And it gives you opportunities as we go. So we're not out there talking about $1 million deals, right? And that's the reality of what we do. And when I talk about family over flash, that's part of the message.
And just kind of on that, with NIL and with the portal, becoming so prominent, how many of your own players did you feel like you almost had to re-recruit to kind of sell them on what you just said on that message?
This is simple. Like I've used the term new Wazoo in a lot of different ways. I've used it in this class, and I think it's catchy with the 22s in there. But we're also a new program, and we're also a new staff. As you look at it, 9 of the 11 full-time coaches are new. Coach Malone was in our program. So it is new, but it's a new mentality. It's a new mindset. There's new accountability. There's discipline and detail in our program. We're still going to have a lot of fun. We're still going to do it the right way. But building relationships will always be at the forefront of everything that we do. And that has been a little bit of a magical deal because our coaches have been here, but also been on the road, trying to see some early workouts and those things and finding ways to build relationships first and foremost. So while everyone sees me very consistent throughout the program, we are a new staff, and it's a new mentality, and all of our guys are really buying into it. And I think they want to be a part of what the vision is going forward. And I think we got a great coaching staff. And I think we've surrounded our young men with great people and mentors and coaches and fathers and husbands. And I'm just couldn't be more excited about the group of men that are here for the right reasons. And as you look at it, a lot of them have been here at some point in their career. And that was really important to me, so they understand what Washington State is and what makes it special, right? Because that's the way I always see it.
So were there some guys that you had to kind of sell that message to, though, that you kind of got that are on the roster that you had to say, hey, this is what we're doing? And was it just kind of bought in?
Well, I think there's messaging, Jamie, and then there's like words on a piece of paper, and then there's real culture. Okay, so the words that I say, I have an opportunity to set the message for the team. And, then we have leaders that want to drive that message, and I think we still have good leadership on this team, real leaders, right, that want to set the tone and the tempo and have an ability to do that every day. But there's just because there's a different mindset, I wouldn't say there's one particular person that we've had to sit down and have conversations with. We've just been real open and honest about what our program looks like going forward and why our guys should want to be a part of that and why each and every one of them fit into that. One of the biggest things I said is, my office isn't the principal's office. It's open 24/7, 365 to get to know these guys even better and come in and talk to me. And let's be a part of something really special going forward, because that's what I really believe that we're building here.
I think it was Lane Kiffin not that long ago. He said the portal and NIL has kind of turned this into year-round free agency. Is that a sentiment you kind of agree with? And what does it kind of mean for Washington State going forward in this new landscape of college football?
Well, I think there's obviously some truth to it. I think the portal, at some point we got to take the calendar back. It was a wild off season with playing New Year's Eve and then having visits January 2nd, but that's the new reality of where we're at. But as you look at the whole scope of the portal, everyone looks at it, like I said, as an oasis or some magic land. You got to find your place in that, so half of the portal is filled with guys that, maybe got in trouble or can't play at your school. 25% of them, well, the real issue is there's a lot of third parties involved. They already know where they're going, right, which is a major issue in college football. And you look at a lot of the portal guys and the traffic, a lot of the schools and the majority of the people where they're from is back out east or in the south. So where is Washington State's place in that? We'll continue to find it, but it is finding the right people. And the ones that we signed, we had a major connection to them, right, through coaches or previous recruiting, and they were the right fit and the right need. I still want to be a developmental program and build our program through high school players. The portal will always be there, but I think it puts a premium on relationships within your own program and how you run your program daily. And that doesn't mean, not being ourselves or not coaching them hard, right? Because we love our players, we're going to coach them hard and we want them to be the best versions of themselves, right? So there's a unique magic in everything, and the portal is here to stay. I wish they would reduce the time or when everyone can go in, because I think losing a kid at any point throughout spring ball is hard, or after spring ball, or in the summer, or who knows when you could have somebody go in there, and you got to have the mechanisms to replace them so we can all function. So there's wide array of conversations that are happening at every level of football right now to try to figure out what's best.
And then just, it obviously is, you guys have reaped benefits from the portal and from some of these NIL things. How important was the NIL money in getting a guy like a Cam Ward, who obviously big talent, extremely, sought after? How important was the NIL money in acquiring him?
Well, I think that's a question for Cam, but I know it was part of it. But I like to think the connection, the fit in the offense, and what he feels like he can do in his relationships that he have built with Coach Morris, and how he felt the direction of me being the head coach and our program going trumped all that. And maybe that's an old school view for me, but I think it's obviously part of the new college landscape, and we'll be involved in it, and we'll find ways to make sure that we're doing it the way we can to stay competitive and to keep up with the rest of the country.
Thank you, Coach. Congrats on the signing day.
Thanks, Jamie.
All right, Coach, next question, Colton Clark. Go ahead, Colton.
I saw you guys lost your recruiting director midway through last month. Did that create any hurdles, or were you pretty well prepared for it?
Well, I think losing anyone, in the middle of the season, which would be recruiting season, could create some challenges. But to what I started off saying in my statement, I think our recruiting department and our new director of player personnel, Rob Schlager, really led a team effort. And people saying, hey, this isn't in my lane, but I'm going to, overcome and kind of make sure that we're doing, everyone's job and making it a team effort as we kind of went down the stretch. So I thought that was really important. And, Marco has done a great job stepping into that new role. And I'm excited for his vision and his energy as he moves into the director of recruiting role.
Kind of on an unrelated topic, hope this is okay, but we do this thing at the Spokesman where we ask people we cover about the Super Bowl. Do you have a prediction, and why?
Well, it's fun. It's fun for me because, I was a defensive coordinator, got a chance to coach the linebackers, and Logan Wilson is the starting Mike for the Bengals. And then on that defense was also Tyler Hall, played corner for us, who is now on the roster with the Rams. So either way, I'm going to be so excited and proud of both of those guys. And, they're just another example. When you work hard, you do things right, and you're a good person, great things can happen for them. So I'm going to stay neutral there. As long as my Packers didn't win it, I don't have a dog in the fight. So I'm going to stay neutral on that one.
Anything you remember in particular about your time working with those two guys at Wyoming? Like anything stand out?
Well, yeah, I mean, Logan was always highly touted, and, he was just what stands out to me, because I still call him to this day and say, what would you recommend, to players? And he says one thing, that the habits that they create in college, keep them as they go throughout their professional life, because there's so many people that have talent, but don't create the habits to be successful daily. And I think that's what Logan did. And when your best player works the hardest, there's so much power in that. And then T. Hall, every time a scout came out to me, I said, watch this guy. Okay. He will be undrafted, but he will make a team in the NFL. And sure enough, 2 years later, he's still doing it, has an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl, and just excited for both those guys.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions for Coach Dickert? Please raise your hand. Not seeing any, Coach. I think we're done. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Oh, hold on. Yes, who? Jamie Vinnick. Go ahead.
Ooh, that was late, Jamie. You came in at the last second.
I clicked the wrong button.
Bill almost, he almost got you.
I know. Bill's fast.
Yeah, he is.
I don't think we've had a chance to really talk about some of the transfers you guys have brought in. Obviously, we've discussed Cam, but between Nusi, Dayon, and Jordan Lee. What are you kind of getting in those guys? Kind of, a quick thumbnail of what those three can bring and what you've seen from them here in the early going.
I've gotten a chance to see Dayon. Obviously, we got a chance to recruit him before Christmas and the early signing day, but I got a chance to see him in workouts the last couple of days. Wow. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. He is a long, rangy athlete that can run, that loves football. I'm just excited for his future. I think he's going to be an NFL draft pick easily. He has all those tools. He has the mentality. He has the size and the frame. I'm putting him on the radar right now because I think we got a big-time football player in Dayon Henley. Jordan Lee, I've coached a lot of Jordan Lees. They are smart. They are tough. They are physical. And they just really fit our system. And like I said with Tony Carter, there's not many people that play with a true strong safety anymore. But that guy has all the versatility, physicality, smarts, deep range ability to play at a really high level. And both of those guys, obviously, were very connected to Coach Ward, but both of them are great people, work hard, great leadership in both of them. I've seen it really come out of them in the last couple of weeks. So he's a great addition. And then Nusi, he's really been an interesting story, where he was injured a little bit last year, so where he couldn't put on the size he needed. I think in the first 2 weeks, he's already added 7 pounds. Just a long, athletic, rangy guy that is going to fit in the interior of our defensive line and really be different, have that snap and that ability to rush the passer from the inside. So, like I said, very targeted in every position that we targeted there. And obviously Coach Mark was very connected to him at Virginia. And it was very, just very good as far as just getting the right fit for our place. So, we feel really good about where all 4 of those transfer guys will fit into our team next year.